Hey everyone, in today's video, I want to do a quick little roundup of 5 of my favorite writing centers for kindergarten, 1st, and 2nd grade students. Now, I have done lots of writing videos over the years. They are all in my writing playlist right here. Most of them are going to be genre-based, so how to write an opinion piece, or my favorite mentor text for teaching personal narratives. But I also have others like how to teach students to write a complete sentence, and how to expand sentences, and how to teach writing paragraphs. I even recently came out with a video on how to use writing journals in the classroom and how to incorporate writing into our other subjects throughout the day for more authentic learning, and that's kind of where this video comes into play. I wanted to share 5 writing centers that allow students not only to write independently, but to write authentically based on what they're learning. So if you are ready to hear my 5 favorite writing centers, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and let's get started. Writing center number 1 that I like to include, specifically for this one in K-1 classrooms, is going to be a handwriting center. Now, I have a whole video on the importance of handwriting and how to incorporate handwriting into your classroom and why it's so important. But this would be an independent center your students would get to continue practicing their handwriting at. Now, there's many different ways you can do a handwriting center, and there's really no right or wrong here. You could simply print out some worksheets and have your students practice making letters they've already reviewed. Remember, for this to be an independent center, it should be something your students have already done in the past and they are just practicing those skills. So for a handwriting center, it would want to be letters that your students have already learned how to create correctly, how to form correctly, because you don't want them to practice something incorrectly over and over and over. It's just going to reinforce those bad habits. So make sure whatever letters you put in this center are ones they've already learned. Now, like I said, you could print out worksheets and have students simply trace the letters. You could add a little illustration box to it, so maybe they can draw something that starts with that letter after they go ahead and trace the letter and write their own. You can make it multisensory by having some sand or a little gel board where students can first make the letter there before they pick up a paper and pencil and start to do it themselves. Many different ways you can do this. In the SJT Writing Club, I have a handwriting center. It looks like this right here. And these boards are actually in full color, and I will either put them in like folder protective sleeves or I will just laminate them. And I have students complete it with a wet erase or a dry erase marker. So in this center, each letter will have its own sheet. And first I have students actually identify images in the grid that begin with that sound. So here for the B example, they will circle basket, button, barn, boat, bow, and bike. And then they will go ahead and trace the first 2. We have an uppercase and lowercase, and then they will practice writing their own. For my handwriting center, I did want to make something that also connected the letters to the sounds. So I have one of those for each letter, as well as the digraphs TH, CH, and SH. So center number 1 is a handwriting center. Like I said, in most K-1 classrooms, I would include this type of center. In 2nd grade, I would only include it as needed for students that need it, but that could be an independent center for them. Okay, center number 2 is one of my favorites, and it is the research center. Now, I love this type of center. It is great for informative writing, and I like it because you can connect it to whatever you're learning about throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, whatever. You can kind of connect it to your other learning. Now, all you need for a research center are some nonfiction books that are at your students' reading levels for them to be able to decode on their own, and that sounds like a pretty high task, especially in K-1. In 2nd grade, that's totally doable. But in K-1, I actually like to put an iPad or a computer or some sort of device there that students can have access to. Now, currently today, as I'm filming this video, it is February 2nd, so it is Groundhog's Day. In many K-2 classrooms, they are learning about Groundhog's Day and what he predicted, Punxsutawney Phil, and all that fun stuff. So what I would do is for all my students this week, they would have access to a Let's Learn About Groundhogs video. Now, for YouTube videos, SciShow Kids is one of my absolute favorites. It looks like this right here. She has a ton of videos. They're all quick. They're about 4 minutes long, and they're all informative based, and they're made for kids, so students really can listen to them and actually learn quite a bit. So I would go ahead and have students have that video readily available. If you use Clever, you can set it up on there. You could have the link already ready for them. They can watch the video and then they write down what they learn. Now, how you want them to write down what they learn is totally up to you. If students have a writing journal, they can just write in there some facts they learned. I like to include include some little graphic organizers that look like this right here. This way students can write the topic in the middle and kind of write down 4 quick notes of what they learned. You could of course just have writing paper like I showed in the back with an illustration box, and they can share anything they learn. Now also you can see in this video in the SJT Writing Club, I have some seasonal topics that students can learn about. So if your students are learning about any of these topics throughout the winter time, you could throw these over in the research center. I just like them because they are timely and fun. So all of these have a little QR code. So if your students have iPads like the first graders do at my school, they can go ahead and scan the QR code. The SciShow video will come up automatically for them. It will teach them about any of these topics, let's say reindeer, and then after they learn about it, they can jot down 4 things they learned. Now, like I said, those specific cards are in the SJT Writing Club under the Writing Centers portion, but you can make a research center around anything. Like I mentioned, if you are in 2nd grade, it's even easier for you because there's many more nonfiction books you can pick from to kind of throw in a center. And if not, just look at SciShow Kids on YouTube. You will find so many great videos, and it's a fun way for them to learn some new information and practice writing it down. Writing center number 3 that I love for K through 2 is called combining sentences. Now with this center, I want my students to practice combining sentences using conjunctions. So it's a little more skill-based. I actually talked a little bit about this type of activity in this video right here, some tips for teaching students about oral language skills, because before I would send my students off to this type of writing center, I would absolutely make sure that we have done this whole group. We've practiced saying these sentences aloud, combining these sentences aloud before I would put it into a center. But essentially this type of center looks like this. In this center, I have a bunch of cards that I would combine using a little binder ring over in that top left corner, and each of them has a different conjunction that they are going to use to combine the sentences. So you can see, let's combine, and we'll use the word but. Sam wanted a cat, Fran wanted a dog. Again, this is something we would have practiced together as a whole group first, so students would have to write down, Sam wanted a cat, but Fran wanted a dog. Here we have let's combine with the word and. The dog is big, the dog is brown. Here students will write down the dog is big and brown. We have the word because, Bill ate pizza, Bill was hungry. We could say Bill ate pizza because he was hungry. And then I also have some for the word so, even though they are not pictured here. And that last one there is a series of commas that I included in this unit because it's around the same time that I also teach this to my students. So here I gave them a list like cups, plates, and forks, and they have to come up with their own sentence where they list all 3 of those things and put the commas in the correct places. Now that center includes 50 of those cards as well as some recording sheets. You could of course include just a whiteboard and a marker, and you could make your own cards for students and kind of give them a conjunction of the day to use over in that center, or a conjunction of the week. You might have the word and up there on like a pink index card or a blue one that's nice and bright. And when they go, they have to take some sentences and combine them using the word and they can just write it down on their whiteboard. But again, taking something that we are learning whole group in writing and practicing it independently. Those center cards are also included in the SJT Writing Club. All right, writing center number 4 is story-based writing. Now I love connecting our reading to our writing. So if you read a story earlier on in the day during your reading block, this can be a great time for students to kind of cycle through and write about what they learned or write about the story. Now I have story-based writing prompts for each and every season of the year, and I absolutely love them. So let me show you what they look like right here. Here is what the February writing lessons look like, and there are going to be 7 different lessons. Again, they're kind of themed based on February, so each month is a little different. But this first one, if we're sticking with Groundhog's Day, again, this is Groundhog Facts. So maybe you read Groundhog Day by Gail Gibbons earlier in the day. And if not, you can also, if you have some technology over at this center, you can also link it to a read aloud that's on YouTube, so students might want to listen to the story again. But you can also see here that for every book suggestion that I give, I also give a video suggestion in case you don't have access to that book. So here again is SciShow Kids for All About Groundhogs. So students would quickly watch that little video and then they can share all about groundhogs. Now in my writing unit, I always have a bunch of different paper options because this is made for K through 2. So here you can see that some of the options have a starter for students to trace and then keep writing. Like for kindergarten, they'd probably just write, I'd ask them to write one fact. Groundhogs are what? and they can go ahead and share something they learned. Some other options I have for students include a word box. I love having a word box for kindergarten and first grade. Not only does it help them spell some of the important words that they learned about so they aren't stuck on that, but it also helps give them ideas for what to write as well. And then for second grade, I have an option without some dotted lines, one that includes a word box and one that does not. Now for other February mini lessons, we have Ice Cream for Breakfast Day, How to Be a Good Friend, the Super Bowl, Love Your Pet Day, My Special Valentine, and If I Were President of the United States. So not only does it cover a lot of different themes and holidays that will take place throughout the month so you can connect it to your learning, but the different types of writing, it covers different genres. So in the Groundhog's Day one, they were of course sharing information, so it's a more informative type of prompt, but there are opinion ones like what would you do as president for the day. We teach some SEL, some social emotional learning, how to be a good friend, and there's also some narrative prompts in there as well, so it kind of covers a wide range. Now those are of course in the SJT Writing Club, but they're also available on TPT, so I will link those down in the description. And last but not least, Writing Center number 5 is called This or That. Now you can do this or that, you could do would you rather. Essentially students are faced with two different options and they need to choose one and defend their opinion or give reasons for their opinion. Now I don't know about you, but my K-2 learners have always loved sharing their opinions, so writing about opinions has been kind of an easy process for them in terms of at least coming up with the ideas that they want to write about. And a This or That Center just helps students practice that and makes it a lot more fun. Now for my This or That Center in the SJT Writing Club, I have a bunch of different cards that look just like this. And they're very simple. It says, which would you choose? And I don't even have any other words on there, so it's largely visual. Now there's a ton of different cards. Which would you choose? Ladybug or butterfly? Pizza or hot dog? Snake or turtle? Cooking or cleaning? The beach or the mountains? Like I said, tons of different options, and students would simply look at the two options, choose one, and practice giving a reason. Now, of course, we're going to do this during our opinion writing genre unit, and we're going to practice stretching out and making a longer opinion piece. But this is just a great way for students to quickly get into the habit of stating their opinion, supplying a reason. Stating their opinion, supplying a reason. And of course, they're going to use that conjunction because quite a bit here. Now, like I said, those this or that little cards there are included in the SJT Writing Club, but I also have a larger unit of like more funny, kid-friendly would you rather questions, and that looks like this right here, and this is available over on TPT, and actually if you download the preview you can get a bunch of cards for free to use with your students. So you could display these on the board, or you could print them out and put them over in a center. So just for some examples, it's would you rather eat only vegetables or only fruit for 3 days? Would you rather sneeze all the time or cough all the time? Would you rather have a magic carpet that flies you anywhere or a robot maid who cleans up after you all the time? Would you rather eat 1 small bug or 3 big lemons? And again, not only do they have to share their opinion, but they need to give a reason why. You can find tons of fun, kid-friendly would you rather questions, and it's a great one to throw over in a center and have students write. So there you have 5 of my favorite independent student writing centers that you can use in a K-2 classroom. I would love to know from you if you have any other writing centers that you love using with your kids. Let me know down in the comments. I know many of the centers I mentioned are only available in the SJT Writing Club right now, so if you are a member, you can grab them. There's a whole section on the side that says writing centers, and they are included there. If you would like them sold either on Teachers Pay Teachers or in my own store on susanjonesteaching.com, just let me know down in the comments. If I find that people really do want them, I can kind of pull them out, make them their own unit, and make them available there. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this video and found some tips and ideas that you can use in your classroom right away. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up so I know. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel and click that bell. That way you're notified of every new video. See you in the next one. Bye.